Watch and burn.
Hey everybody, so tonight I want to discuss John Carpenter's absolutely killer 1995 film. I think it's 95, and that is In the Mouth of Madness. Now, what this tells the story of, and of course I apologize if there's any echo, it's because I found this really awesome house, and I'm next to a room right here that's very echoey, but I do really like how that looks, so I do apologize again. But anyways, what In the Mouth of Madness is about is a dude by the name of John Trent. He is an insurance investigator, and he is hired by a author's publisher. The author in question is Sutter Kane, and the publisher is hiring John Trent to find Sutter Kane, who's this massively popular and ridiculously influential horror novelist by the name of Sutter Kane. He's disappeared. Nobody knows where he is, and they need his new book. And his new book, of course, is entitled In the Mouth of Madness. So they send, I can't remember, I think it's his editor with him, or his publicist. I can't remember if her first name's Linda or Lydia, but her last name's Stiles. So Trent and Stiles go off in search of Hobbs End, because John puts it together early on that using the covers of Sutter Kane's old novels that you can find the town Hobbs End that shouldn't exist because it only exists in the Sutter Kane novel, Hobbs End Horror. But nonetheless, using the map trick, Trent and Stiles go driving off, and unfortunately for them, they find Hobbs End. Now, this town is on the surface, it's a scenic little tourist town, got this rustic vibe going for it, but it's completely deserted. And ironically enough, too, the church where Sutter Kane lives is located just like up the street from Canada's Wonderland, so to speak. You can see the church that was used in the movie from Wonderland. So they go to Hobbs End. It's where the church is, the cursed church where Sutter Kane is. And Trent starts to put together that this is just some sort of publicity stunt. And Stiles confirms that, yes, it actually was a publicity stunt. But then Kane never returned. Kane and his work is becoming more erratic and more almost psychotic, she's saying. And everybody knows at this point that Sutter Kane's novels seem to have an effect on their readers, or their more weaker-minded readers. And it's like, do you read Sutter Kane? You know, and your eye starts to bleed and you got like the double pupil going. That means that you've been taken over by the words and you're becoming one of his sort of Lovecraftian monsters. Now that's saying something too, because I don't love Lovecraftian horror. For me, Lovecraftian horror, I don't like the slimy sort of sea monster, tentacle, octopus looking things. I don't find them scary. Now, in reality, if I had to deal with one of those motherfuckers, I would be plenty terrified. But as far as movie canon fodder is concerned, movie fodder, I don't like them. But I love this movie, and this movie is very Lovecraftian, and I love how I get lost in the atmosphere, and I love how there's that genuine sense of fear. Like, once they cross over that bridge, it's like they're floating, and Stiles looks out, and she's like, ooh, and the bridge isn't on the ground anymore, because Hobbs End doesn't exist. This place exists in some kind of hellish nether realm. So Trent tries to stop the book from making it back, but the whole time he'd already long since delivered the book. The book was a massive hit. Stiles disappears. She never existed. Charlton Heston, who plays the lead publisher, the head publisher for Sutter Kane's publishing company, he's like, this Stiles chick, I don't know who she is. And Trent's like, what the fuck, man? And he's like, look, the book is so popular, the movie's being made. And then society kind of falls apart, and you hear snippets of radio broadcasting like, if you have remained human, just stay indoors. We don't know what's happening to people, but they're changing, and they're becoming like those Lovecraftian monsters that Sutter Kane writes about. And this is actually happening in the world now. And the movie concludes with Trent going to see the movie about him in the movie, starring him, and his throat starts to swell, and the movie cuts. Absolutely perfect. I love this movie. I've loved this movie since I first saw this movie back in 95. I remember my buddy rented it, and he had it for 48 hours. And I had to rent it off him for 4 cigarettes. Because then I had to promise to take it back. Because I heard so many good things about it, and they only had like 4 or 5 copies, and they were always out. And my buddy had it, rented it off him for the cigarettes, and I fell in love with the movie. And I got it back on time, too. Because that's the kind of friend I am. But look, I am going to stop talking. I found this awesome house. I'll put up a link in the description, of course, if you want to see this house through and through. This place is massive. It's got 3 kitchens. There's new and old. It's like the front part of it's modernized. The old part's like Little House on the Prairie. This place is rad. But look, I'm gonna go. So thank you so much for hanging out with me for a little over 5 minutes while I discuss John Carpenter's absolutely killer 1995 film, In the Mouth of Madness. Like always, if you like this review, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. But please, most importantly, don't forget that the world is actually a better place because you are in it. Like always, I'm gonna go. Have a good night.